In the age of long-forgotten memory, the earth was covered in complete darkness. Until one day, a hero pulls the mighty sun closer to shine upon the earth. This hero was later called the Guardian of the Sun, who controlled the seasons of the earth. With the arrival of the sun, another strange man appears in the world of dreams. This man was known as the Guardian of the Moon, who rules the world of dreams along with the moon. Together, both guardians have brought peace, prosperity, and balance upon the earth. Millenniums have gone by. The sun is dragged to shine upon the earth by using a behemoth stone golem during the day, and the moon is dragged by a giant bird during the night in the opposite direction to create a day and night cycle. But the sun will never enter the land of night, and the moon will never go into the land of day. So, the world is divided into the world of day and the world of night. The creatures on the day side worship and listen to the Guardian of the Sun. On the other hand, the night creatures worship and listen to the Guardian of the Moon. Both of the Guardians of the Sun and Moon are elected every few years to take care of the day and night cycle. In the Sun world, a creature named Sahin was about to be elected to be the Guardian of the Sun. Soon was overconfident, extremely cocky, and very flirtatious with the ladies. In the Moon world, a creature named Lion was the polar opposite of Soon. Lion was quiet, villain-like, and calm, and was going to be elected as the Guardian of the Moon the next night. In between the worlds of the sun and the moon, creatures that are made out of wax inhabit the land. A young wax teenager called Grim lived with her dad in this land. Lim felt happy to witness the coronation of the Guardian of the Sun and Moon. However, her dad tells her that she should go because she would melt and die, just like her mom, Ursula, after going out in the heat wave at 3 p.m. Unfortunately, Glim, being a teenager, does not heed her father's advice. Back in the real world, a young, happy and playful teen named Moon stumbles into Lion's speech ceremony by accident. Moon is grounded by his dad. Moon is a special teenager with superpowers. He has the power to calm babies so they sleep well, even if they have nightmares. The next day, the sun and the moon are brought side by side to celebrate the coronation. The ceremony then begins. The old Guardian of the Sun, Master Shola, descends from the sun to bestow the powers of the sun on the next Guardian, Soon. The celebration goes smoothly. Both Moon and Glim get to witness the ceremony. While the Guardian of the Sun coronation is going on, Yule, the old Guardian of the Moon, starts their ceremony. Yule calls forth the purest creature of the night to declare Lion as the Guardian of the Moon. But the unexpected happens. The creature chooses Moon as the new Guardian of the Moon, not Lion. Moon is confused, but has no choice but to accept his fate. Glim watches in as Yule declares him his successor. Watching what was going on in the darkness of the netherworld, the minions of the evil monster, Necros, brought the news of Master Shola's retirement to their master. Necros saw an opportunity to start his evil schemes of stealing the sun. He then releases 2 serpents to corrupt souls. Though he uses that person to further their plans. The serpents go straight to Lion, who has suffered the most from disappointment as his years and years of training had gone to waste, because Moon was now chosen as the new Guardian all of a sudden. The serpent saw the darkness within Lion's heart. So it offers a proposal to him. If Lion could bring the sun to the underworld and offer it to Necros, he would help Lion to be the new Guardian of the Moon. Lion quickly accepted the proposal from the serpents. Elsewhere, Moon is brought to the carrier of the moon. On top of the bird-shaped carrier, there are 100 strings holding down the moon to the carrier. These strings are made by a small white spider-like creature living inside the carrier. Eula shows Moon around the temple. These strings have amazing properties. Sometimes it can be used as a harp to control the bird-like carrier. Eula also shows Moon the hidden door, leading to the world of dreams. He still does not understand why he was chosen as a guardian. He thinks he is unworthy. After all, he feels like he has no talents and will not be able to manage the temple. He can ask more questions about how to operate the temple. Eula transforms into a huge glowing plant that blossoms into a moon-shaped flower, just like other guardians before him. Back in the Sun Kingdom, Master Shola has now transformed into a stone statue like his predecessor. So-on now rules the temple, but he feels disappointed. The temple requires So-on to do things that he is not interested in, such as photosynthesis, managing weather, and other scientific things. Elsewhere in the Moon Temple, Mune fails miserably at managing the temple. The strings start to break apart while Mune is losing control. The carrier starts swaying haphazardly without following direction, and even the moon starts slipping away. Mune somehow manages to bring back the moon, but the carrier stops moving at all. So, Mune carries the moon with him like a balloon. So-on watches Mune angrily from far away at the Sun Temple. He is mad at the moon for causing mishaps on the first day of his job. Then, Lion suddenly makes an appearance out of thin air and tells So-on that he should reprimand Mune for failing his duties. Lion tells So-on to help him take over the Muon Temple, so they could both handle the Guardian's business properly. After all, if the Moon Guardian fails, it means the Sun Guardian failed too. So-on is persuaded by Lion. So he takes his spear and heads toward the Moon Temple, leaving his own temple unprotected. Using this golden opportunity, Necros devil minions steal the sun from the temple. As soon as the So-on reaches the moon, darkness covers the world. Glim notices two minions trying to steal the sun from her house. So she runs to let So-on know. When So-on reaches the Moon Temple, he finds Mune outside, holding the moon. So he scolds Mune harshly. Then he grabs the moon away from Mune and hands it over to Lion. So-on now declares that Lion is not the new guardian of the moon. At Garvaded, Mune ran back into the forest and met Glim, who came to tell So-on that the sun had been stolen. As So-on looked around, he saw the final glimpses of the sun as it was dragged down to the underworld. Lion tells So-on that the sun was probably stolen by Necros, and suggests So-on go there. In the meantime, Lion will take care of the Moon Temple again. In the underworld, Necros has the sun. He then blows it out. Glim travels along the side of So-on. She is initially shy, but soon realizes that So-on is just a muscle head. So-on led them in a circle for about an hour. So, Glim decides to take charge and use the star to guide them to the underworld. Soon they met Mune on the way. Mune then joins the party because he feels guilty for this whole situation. The trio then travels together to the underworld. Back at the Moon Temple, Lion is overjoyed to finally become the guardian of the Moon Temple. As he starts making commands to the temple refuses to obey him. He then tries to send the moon back to the sky, but it does not leave the ground. And for some reason, the moon becomes smaller and smaller every second. Eventually, the moon turns completely into dust. Losing both the sun and the moon, the world is now in complete darkness. The whole world goes into chaos. The Moon Temple has now started moving towards the underworld by itself. On their way to the underworld, the trio encountered the old guardians of the moon who had been banished, Phospho. Lim bestows power on Phospho, so she won't melt away from anything hot unless it is the sun itself. Phospho then decides to join the group. Phospho then reveals his past. Back when he was the guardian of the moon, Necros was the guardian of the sun. But he has been corrupted by evilness and wants to keep the sun to himself. The world has been plunged into darkness. Unfortunately for Necros, Master Shola managed to stop his evil plans in time. As his punishment, Necros is sent down to the underworld and stays there for over 300 years. Awaiting his chance to return, Necros patiently waits for Master Shola to leave, so he could see the sun once again. The group then questions Phospho why he did not stop Necros himself. But the old guardians run away with shame without answering. The truth was Phospho cowardly hid away from Necros because he was scared. As a punishment, he was exiled. The group decides to move on without Phospho. The team reaches the gates of the underworld. But before they could enter the underworld, Mune and Glim saw the Moon Temple trampled rampantly. So-on decides that it's best that he takes care of the moon, and Mune decides to take care of the sun. So, Mune and Glim head to the Moon Temple, and Soon jumps to the underworld. Mune notices that the moonbird-like carrier has passed out. So, uses his power to calm it down and bring it back to its senses. He does not know if his power will work because he has only used it on children. But, surprisingly, his powers work. Mune calms down the best. Then Mune heads inside the temple and learns that the moon is gone. So, Mune and Glim decide to open the trapdoor and teleport to the dream world. Back in the underworld, hundreds of serpents surround Soon and attempt to lure him to the dark side. Soon starts to lose himself, but Phospho appears out of nowhere and saves Soon from turning evil. In the dream world, Mune and Glim are surrounded by the creatures of the darkness. Mune and Glim start fighting the demon. Soon, Mune realizes that they are nightmares, and he could use his power to destroy them easily, and that is exactly what he does. So, he uses his superpowers to free the world from nightmares. Then, Mune carves out another moon from the large crystal at the center of the room. The duo then return home with the new moon. Lian witnesses what Mune just did, and finally acknowledges Mune as the true guardian of the moon. Mune and Glim then rush back to the underworld to aid Soon, who is getting beat up badly by Necros. While Mune joins the battle, Glim goes to bring back the sun. She blows hard on the sun, and it starts to come back to its former glory. But this melted away. After seeing this, Mune gathers all his might and banishes Necros to the world of dreams. Inside the world of dreams, Mune is the Almighty, and Necros could never harm him. Mune pulls out the serpents that corrupted Necros from the inside. Then, Mune destroys the serpents and frees Necros from his corruption. Necros turns into a stone statue just like his predecessors. Mune returns back to his world and starts gathering Glim's wax and remolding her. Place her in a sanctuary with a small piece of the moon. Soon apologizes to Mune as he gives Mune the title of the strongest guardian ever. Everything goes back to normal. The sun, the moon, and the temple are once again set back to their original course. Sometimes later, Glim wakes up with the power given to her by Phospho. She no longer melts the day with the new moon alongside her. She does not freeze in the night. She quickly rushes to Mune and they reunite once more. This time as lovers. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. You might like our other recently released animation recap on the world where fish are essential beings. They demonize humans for eating them and torturing them. Check it out.